Hey guys, Chaos50 with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the complete style gigantic Zanvat sword from Master Kiva. This is a 1-to-1 scale replica of the sword used by Kiva's Emperor form, which has not only a completely accurate size, but also better painted details, as well as improved functionality. This set just includes the Zanvat sword and the Wake Up Whistle Zanvat version. So, let's get started. So first off, we'll take a look at the CSG Zanvat sword in detail. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Complete Style Gigantic, it is basically a companion line to Complete Selection Modification that is focused entirely on weapons rather than on rider gear. So with this, like I said, this is a 1-to-1 scale version of the sword. And as you can see, it is too big to fit entirely on camera. Now, just to give you an idea of the details, with this version being more close to show, you can more closely see that it is meant to be for Kiva's Emperor form, because not only does it have the signature gold and red, but it also has the metallic orange to it that can be considered like the extra accent color of Emperor form. So going from top, you have the ornate details of the tip of the sword. You have the blade with all of these bats molded onto it and lines running through it. Then we have the Zanvat bat at the hilt. You can see all that nice detail in there. It does have nice clear red eyes, matching the style of the CSM Kivats, as well as the little crown on top. It does have the wings on the bottom too, as well as the feet. And coming to the hilt, it's got a nice matte finish to it, as well as paint around the symbol and the pommel at the bottom. It has a very clean look on the back. You can see no screw holes or anything like that. A lot of nice paint back here too. So, and just to give you an idea of the proper scale of it, here is my deluxe Zanvat sword, and though I can't probably show it, basically the deluxe version only goes up to about the tip of the further out wings. So it really gives you an idea of just how big it is in comparison. And you can definitely see the improvement in all of the details there. Then you also have the Zanvat Whistle, or the Wake Up Whistle Zanvat version. Now this is actually a separate piece that came than the one that is included in the CSM Tatsu lot, and it is not the same. At least, not in terms of what I can do. So with this one, it is more sized to go onto here. And you can see that it does have the pins there, but size-wise this actually will not fit and cannot be used with the CSM Kivat belt. However, that is not necessary, as this has all the sound effects for the final Zanvat slash within it. And so to put on, it actually is pretty smartly designed in that rather than having clips like the original version, instead it attaches via magnets. So it cleanly sticks on and can easily be removed without at all damaging it. Next, we get to the electronics. So, I'll switch on. Like a lot of these types of items, you need to remove the battery cover, which you do so by just getting your nail into a little crevice on the handle and prying that off. And this takes 3 AA batteries. Well, either AA or AAA, I don't quite remember, but you have the power switch here. It also has lights in the blade, so we're going to want to have it facing this way. as we turn it on. So there it is switched on. However, to actually get started, I'm actually going to be demonstrating an extra mode it has. So, in the show, it does not start with the Zanvat on it, but instead with it off. So, there's actually a button here on the back of the blade tip. You remove the cap. Then on the back, there's this button here, which you press down. It allows you to slide Zanvat bat. It will lock in at the place at the bottom as well as the top, and then you can slide right off. Then place it back on the cap. Switch on again. We get a more simplified startup sound with no lights. So then we can place this back on. And we can also technically take a closer look at Zanvat on its own. So you can see that it is mostly painted, but if we take a look in here, you can see that on the inside it's just the molded paint, or just the molded plastic color, so that it doesn't really get damaged when sliding up and down the blade. Another nice detail, and something that definitely helps out with the feature, is that if we look at the top and bottom, we can see that rollers were installed to help make the sliding mechanism go more smoothly. Now, coming down to the grip, there are two buttons. This button here is the attack button, and this is the button for other sounds. So, pressing the attack button, we'll get one basic attack. And then press the button on the top for various brandishing sounds. Now we can get some more sounds by pressing and holding the button up here. And these sounds are meant to replicate the sword, being thrown into a wall and then being slowly pulled out. Or rather, it being slowly pulled out of a wall, which is how it's first obtained. Also, sometimes you get if you press both buttons at the same time. First is the sound of Kiva being corrupted by the sword when he first grabs it, and then for the second one, we have the sound of the arms monsters fusing to become the Zanvat bat. So then from there we can convert back into present mode, before starting by sliding on the Zanvat bat. Get that standby sound. Then we can slowly slide it down the blade. And that will convert back to the normal mode. So, we still have the normal attack sounds. Though if you press and hold the attack button now, you get a strong attack. Well as the sounds from the extra sound button. Also press and hold it for other sounds. Then, of course, we have the main gimmick, which is the sharpening. So for this, we'll slide all the way to the top, and back down. Now it'll give us a different attack sound. If we do it 4 times, we'll get that attack sound. And do that again. And again. Now convert it back to normal, you can press and hold this button here. And then get back to normal. So then we can get to the finisher attack, and that's where the fun part comes in. So, first, we can press and hold both buttons for the whistle removal sound, and we can do that in tandem with removing the whistle. Then activate Wake Up by pressing them again. And we'll slowly slide up to the top. Then slide back down. And from there we can charge up the final Zanvat slash. First, the first initial attack, and then we can do several others in sequence. And after that, we'll slide back up to the top and slowly lower it down. Which completes the finisher attack. Now of note is that it is not timed with, or it does not technically sync up with the movement of the blade. There aren't any extra buttons to detect that movement. So you basically kind of have to move it in timing with the lights itself. However, if you want, you can also just do it in a more quick manner. Just slide all the way to the top. That'll slide instantly. And there are other sounds I can make in the fully charged state. So if you press the attack button down here, you get that sound. You also get some sounds from pressing the button on top. We can get a couple of extra finisher attacks by pressing and holding either of the buttons on top or bottom. So for the attack button, you first get that sound of it kind of flying and hitting the opponent. Then you press it again. We got the finish. You do that again, but this time using the button on top. For a different finisher. So this time I'll just show the whole thing off without any interruptions. And there we go. Overall, this is an incredibly impressive piece. The size and details are perfectly replicated here, and it does also replicate the gimmick quite well. It is nice that this has sounds for both the normal present mode as well as the past mode, especially because while you could technically remove the Zanvat bat in the original deluxe toy, if you simply unscrewed the cap and took off the bat, it wouldn't change up sound, so that is quite a welcome addition. And while it is unfortunate that, it doesn't have any kind of way to allow you to time the way the lights go up as you slide up and down the bat, the fact that it has that kind of pattern where you can move it alongside to more closely replicate the way it worked in the show, rather than with the deluxe toy where you have to slide all the way to the top and then the lights would catch up, is definitely something that feels a lot better. And while I can't really show it here on camera, I will say it does also have quite an impressive amount of heft, and I believe there may even be die-cast metal that he put into the handle to help replicate that. Now, one thing that is also interesting about this, that was something I didn't quite understand at first, was the fact that they put the attack button on this side, whereas normally on the deluxe version it would be on this side, and you still do hold it with this part facing you. What I found through a bit of experimenting is that this actually works well, because if you hold it with your hand on the trigger button like this, and then you squeeze down your hand, as you can hear, the inner part will actually hit the button. So you can still use it and be able to get the attack button sounds or attacking sounds while still being able to grip it properly, which I think is quite well done. Now, this doesn't do too much overall in terms of the electronics, but that definitely is a product of just what it could do on the show, and definitely does pull off all the things it could do, so there's not much more I could ask of it. Now, as far as recommending this goes, I will say this one is definitely just for the hardcore collectors, such as myself, or the people who can really afford it. Because I'll be honest, this was an expensive piece, and I did have to pay it in installments because of just how much of a price tag it is, and probably because of that size, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to ship. So, again, while it is definitely a cool item, this is one that is not one I can easily recommend unless you really, really want it and you can really afford it. But I am certainly quite happy to have it in my collection, and it is just overall an impressive replica. Next time we'll be getting back to what I was doing the week before, where I'll be getting to part 2 of my review of the Deluxe Val and Buster, and demonstrating all of the Gochizo that I've taken a look at up until now. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And for now, this is KR50, running off. Happy Halloween.